Hey, Brandon, with your talent as both a runner and a receiver, what does it mean to you when your coaches also talk about your abilities as a blocker?
Yeah, I think blocking is a big part of our offense. Like that's kind of just in general our superpower. What separates us from every team, just how hard we play. And so I think like just blocking, like that's just like a staple in our offense. So I mean, obviously I want to make plays with the ball, I want to score touchdowns, but being able to make that touchdown block or just that first down block is just as important.
What is it that you've done to develop yourself as a blocker? Because I'm sure coming out of high school, that wasn't really something that you probably had worked on a lot.
Yeah, I think it's really like a mindset. Like obviously I'm smaller, and so it's a lot harder to block, and so I had to be more intentional with that, and just extra work after practice, and talk like getting yelled at by Coach Cole and things like that. But honestly, I learned a lot of my blocking from being super tired in fall camp, where it was like I'm so tired that I'm just throwing my body at somebody, and then it just showed me that it's like okay, like I can do this. So it's just kind of like having that mindset and actually being intentional with it when I'm not tired. And once you like kind of build that repetition and you actually start being able to make blocks, it builds the confidence and it just keeps getting better.
What has it meant to you so far this your senior season that they've called upon you in some big areas to make some big plays already?
I mean, honestly, it means everything. That's what we come to. That's what we come here to do. Like we come here to play in big games. We come here to make plays, play D1 football to make big plays. So it means everything.
Thanks a lot.
Let's go to Tim Nolan.
Chad, we had a chance to talk with Eli last week. He likened you to a honey badger, kind of going off of Scott's questions, the way that you bring this tenacity to your blocking, your rushing ability. You got a meanness to the way that you play. Do you endorse that nickname? Do you want to refute it? How do you feel about that?
No, I mean I endorse it. There's nothing wrong with that. Some smaller, some that's a dog. I'm not mad at that.
You have a chance to get your get back now on Rice. What is fueling your program as you say you're focused towards a team that beat you last year?
Yeah. I mean, like we want our get back, but at the end of the day, like we always say, our opponents are nameless and faceless. But like even with that, we still remember what happened last year. So it's just like I feel like we beat ourselves, and like we did that in a couple games last year. So this year is about being intentional, and we're not worried about them. We're worried about us because if we play our best football, we know we can't be stopped.
Brandon, it's not often around here that Navy football goes 4-0 in one season, let alone do it two consecutive years. How has your team gotten better with handling success?
Um, I mean, like it's easy when you're coming from a losing team, and it's like you have nothing to lose and everything to prove, and so like it's easy when you have that initial success, but keeping it is the hard part, just because like now it's like hunt versus being hunted. So now like just like we had games circled on our calendar last year, teams have us circled on their calendar. So it's just kind of just going out there, not pressing, not doing too much, just playing football. The same thing we've been doing since we were about 6 years old. The same thing we do every day in practice. Go out there, have fun, and just be us. And
Thanks,
that's
Chad.
gonna lead to us being successful.
Bill Wagner.
Brennan, I think all of us are impressed with how hard you run, and it kind of is remarkable the way you sacrifice your body. You run like you're built like Derrick Henry, but you're not. Can you kind of tell me where that comes from?
I mean, like from a young age, my mom was just always big on, just us being tough and things like that. Because I mean, when you're younger and you have bumps and bruises, you cry about it, this and that. But like, my mom was never like that. She was always just like kind of hard on us in that sense. Whereas like you like don't empower your pain, And Coach K always says it too. So it's just I think like when it comes to like running the ball and being smaller, like it's honestly just a mindset. Like there's guys that are bigger than me that may not run the ball as hard, but I know I'm smaller and I got to work harder than everybody else. So it comes down to the mindset at the end of the day.
Well, obviously the offense has been pretty good through 3 games, but during this bye week and now into this week, what were some things you wanted to work on? I mean, you can always improve some in certain areas.
I just think it was like the small fundamentals. Like we have certain plays where we're like, all right, this is our culture play, and we might have, started out slow and then went out and executed our offense, but we didn't do as well on the fundamental plays, and that just goes back to the little things matter because we could go play a great game, score a lot of points against a team like Rice or a team like Notre Dame, but you don't have those fundamental plays. That's the difference between a win and a loss.
I'm going to be writing about the jet sweep that Navy runs that is such a staple of Coach Cronick's offense. And I talked to him about doing an under center or out of the gun with the kind of power read play that they employ. The snipes are key factors in the jet sweep. Do you love that play?
Yeah, I do love that play.
Well, tell me why.
I mean, honestly, it's just like we talked about it with like it's been said the years before, and we talk about it a lot with Coach Cole. But like our position, we're asked to do so much, and we feel like we're the best athletes on the team. So like, I mean, you just have two sides of it. You get to either get the ball and you get to go run and be sexy and go make a play, or you get to go load a linebacker. So that's fires me up. Just go hit somebody in their mouth.
Thanks.
Just a reminder, we're doing 3 questions each. We'll go through once and then we'll take it through a second time. So, Wyatt Kopelman.
Hey, Brandon. Coach Newberry talked about how you don't seem to worry about touches or stats at all. You put blocking first. You put creating opportunities for your fellow seniors in this offense first to make sure this offense succeeds. What drives you to embrace that selfless role so effectively?
Well, I mean, it all starts with just the love for my teammates and my brothers. The guy to the left and the right of me that I knew was grinding with me since January, and even just the past 4 years in general. So like the way I look at it as well is if you like just movement up front, just getting the play started. That's the biggest thing. Like without movement, without getting the play started, there is no play. And I love my teammates. I want them to make plays, and I want to win as well. So I want to go out there and I want to block as if my block is the touchdown block, or if my block is what's going to make the explosive play go. And I mean, obviously, like having the ball in my hands, I want my teammate to block the same way for me. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Through 3 games, this team has piled up nearly 1,500 yards of offense. From your perspective, what do you think makes this group so capable of generating chunk plays and extending drives the way it has?
I think it's kind of just similar to what I just said, just getting the play started. Like obviously we're a lot smaller, and I mean I feel like we're starting to close that skill gap and things of that sort. And we play harder than a lot of teams, so going to hit somebody in their mouth, taking the right step, and just getting the play started. That's what's gonna make the play go. If everybody attacks their assignment it's the touchdown run or the touchdown block, then we'll make plays. We'll continue to make plays.
And have there been any big adjustments for you individually from year one of Coach Cronick's offense to year two as you're a senior and you have experience, playing with the best talent out there, having played high school ball in South Florida?
I just think that just like being in the offense with us in general, like for the whole year, he's got to know some of our skills and the things that he can take advantage of. And I even think that, now Coach Cronick knows that he's able to interchange me and Eli, and even me and Tesca, just kind of like switch us around and do the same thing with different people just to kind of leave the other team on their heels.
Thanks.
Gary Lambrick.
Hey, Brandon. Gary Lambrick, NavySports.com. Good to talk with you. I'm doing a piece on a combo. You've heard this before, Eli and Alex. But as one of the, 5 or 6 senior playmakers, and what a great sound that has, huh? You all have that kind of experience and love watching you play, by the way. Can you get into just the way the plays get divvied up in Cronick's, mad scientist, as one of your guys calls him, kind of mind? Talk about just how their roles have become so defined, how good they are at those roles that you obviously play off of.
Yeah, I mean, they're great players, and Coach Cronick obviously knows that he has a bunch of playmakers. So in terms of it getting divvied up, I don't even think he's really calling a play based on who it is. He's just calling a play, and the formation decides who gets the ball, and those two in general, they definitely feed off of each other. I have the opportunity to just be around them all the time. We're all cyber majors, and we're together like in practice. So I like, you know, just like the chemistry that they have, and then like just the confidence and the like the ability to play relaxed football. Like it's no doubt that they're gonna go out there and make plays. And you know, we have a good relationship with Coach Kronick. They go out there, and I mean, like when you see 22 running a route, you know he's going to get open, and you know 11's going to get him the ball. When they call a run play, you know 46 is going to go make somebody miss. So I just think, I mean, they're dogs at the end of the day, and they're going to make a play. Just get the ball in their hands.
If you were, let's just say this is fiction, of course, if you were offering scouting reports to opposing defenders, what would be your main bullet points on Eli and Alex? If you don't do this, you're going to get it. You're going to get it hard.
I would say for Alex, I mean, the biggest thing is wrapping up, you know, because like I said, like he will get in there and he'll get his knees up and he'll break tackles. Like a lot of the things that we talk about in our room in general, because Coach Cole, you know, emphasizes getting our knees up and breaking tackles, and he shows us how Alex does it. And like he gets his knees up and breaks tackles, so he makes the first two miss. And so I think the biggest thing is wrapping up. You can't just go hit him. He's going to bounce off and keep running, go run for 80. And then with Eli, I would just say, you know, maybe be physical and get hands on, because I mean he's bigger, but he's still fast. He's still explosive. He's going to create separation. So if you don't touch him, you're automatically beat.
Now, you guys, none of you saw anything but scout team your first year, right?
Yeah. I think Eli, he was up on the travel team, and he was like just traveling, you know, learning
Right.
from the older guys. And then Alex started out on scout with me, and I think he got moved up towards the end of the season.
So was there kind of a turning point when you look back at the short past when Drew Cronick got here and obviously started to figure out pretty fast how to move the ball around to certain dangerous people like yourself, but key in on those two as to how this offense has totally turned the page and become something else that's, you know, we're all just having fun watching it.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, I feel I mean, obviously, me and Alex were over there with Coach Newberry for the most part, so he like got to see some of what we can do while he was still the defensive coordinator, you know, and so like he's seen some of that, and obviously they seen something in Eli because they had him up there as a freshman. So I mean, like it was there, and then we had the opportunity to showcase what we could do in the spring, and then that year, I feel like that first year was like just kind of just about gaining experience, you know, like it was our first time playing, a couple of our first time starting, and like getting a lot of snaps. So that big thing was just about gaining experience. And when Coach Kronick got here, I mean, obviously he watched the film, he's seen some of us play, and we had a whole spring with him to show him our ability. So I feel like by the time the season came around, he knew who his playmakers were. He knew who to get the ball to. And I mean, like Eli and Alex, they were still making plays last year. It just got bigger, faster, stronger, and better.
Thanks very much, Brandon. I'll talk to you again.
Okay.
Horvath, Teska, Heidenreich, Chatman, none saw varsity action their freshman year. However, Brandon was the JV MVP his freshman year.
Whoa.
Let's go back to Scott Wyckoff.
Hey, Brandon, with all you've achieved and you continue to achieve at the Naval Academy, what does it mean for you to do that for your mom, for all that she's done to help you get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it means the world. You know, like my parents always tell me, like, you know, how proud of me they are. And, you know, at first it's hard to see it, you know, when maybe you're going through your freshman year and you like it may suck here at times, but, you know, you get to see, like, throughout the years, you get to see some of your teammates or your friends in general graduate, and like you see what it means. And then all your family comes or other people come, and like they just, you see like how they react just seeing you at this place. And I think it is something special. So just being able to do what I do in football, military wise, and even in school, you know, it's honestly like it means the world. It means the world to me, and I think it means the world to my mom, my parents, my family in general. So.
And how about this senior year, having put a lot of the academy stuff behind you that you had to go through plebe year and the academics and everything? How much more are you enjoying being able to focus more on football with your teammates and really have a good feel for the other things that are going on in the yard?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's kind of like the similar aspect of coming to the Naval Academy in the first place, where it's like, you know, work hard now and have like a chiller life later. And I think it's kind of like that just throughout your 4 years here, or even 5 if you went to the prep school. But it kind of like starts out, like a busy schedule. You got so many things to worry about. And then we put in extra work going to summer school just so we can make like our load lighter in the long run. So now that I'm senior year, I'm taking 15 credits. I got a lot of free time. I have a lot more time to focus on football, and I have a little bit of homework, but I'm just kind of chilling after practice. So I honestly like it. It's a lot smoother, and I feel like it makes it all worth my while.
You're counting down to the days till you have to make your decision on what you want to do in your military career. Do you have thoughts on that right now? Or are you still trying to work things out?
Well, we already put our preferences in. I'm hoping to either get Navy cyber or Marine cyber, but I'm ready.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nolan.
Chad, a number of your coaches, including Coach Newberry, have talked about how Navy's closed the gap in terms of recruiting, and you've been able to bring in some higher caliber athletes that maybe the academy couldn't get pre-COVID, especially pre-transfer portal and NIL. As you go up against some of those guys in practice, have you started to sense that, like you take a hit and you go, "Whoa, that guy wouldn't be here 3, 4 years ago"?
Yeah, I think it's like whether I'm going against the ones, the twos, and even the threes, I mean, some of the guys are younger and they have a long way to go, but like you can definitely see the potential there. You definitely see the skill there. So I mean, honestly, like I feel like, and I said it in the room before our second game, and I was just like the guys that we go against every day are some of the best guys in the country. So I mean, we're going against the best of the best every day. So I have no doubt that we could go compete against any team that we have to play on our schedule.
Going off that earlier in the call, you talked about how this won't fly against Notre Dame. I know that you have Rice at the forefront of your minds, but how much do you think that you guys have closed the gap with some of the top programs in college football?
I mean, I honestly think we have guys running 22 miles an hour. We have guys benching a ton, squatting a ton. We have guys running fast. We just like you just see it in all areas, and then like you come to spring ball or you go to a fall camp and you just like see guys being explosive. You see guys making plays, and you're like, and like honestly, like I said, every day in practice, it looks like college football. So as long as we go out there and execute the fundamentals and work hard like we do, I don't feel like anybody stands a chance.
Given that's the case for any Navy football fan that's going to watch this, Brandon, uh, how is your program taking care of business on a daily basis to earn yourself the opportunity to show what you got against some of the nation's best?
No, I mean it starts like in Bancroft in the halls, like with school, with the military aspect. Like if you're not handling your business and doing the little things right when it comes to the military aspect, if you're not getting your grades right, then you won't be locked in. You won't be able to give your all to football because you have other outside factors that you have to worry about. So that's the biggest thing Coach Newberry and Blake and Landon harp on is just like taking care of those little things. So when we get to football, you're 100% focused on football. We put in the work all off season. We're still putting in the work day in and day out. So it's definitely going to show up. It's definitely going to make a difference. And that the little things, like I said, when it comes like the fundamentals on these certain plays, like if you can't worry about the little things when it comes to everything on deck, then you can't worry about the little things when it comes to football. So we want to be squared away in all aspects.
Thank you.
Wags.
Just one more for me, Brandon, on that jet sweep. Can you talk about the timing that's needed? Because when you've got to be there at the exact right time when he's ready to hand off, and the same thing, the quarterback when he turns, you've got to be there. It's incredible on the timing, I think. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean that's something that we just have to work every day, and that just goes back and goes to show, like the little things. Like we can easily, not work on that and try to run it in the game, and then we may not execute, or you can, run it like 20 times a day, and you just do it back and forth, and it kind of just seems like, oh, like why do we keep doing this? But then when it's game time, it's everything's just like rolling, you know.
And lastly, how do you like being a punt returner? And since you started doing that this season, do you feel like you're getting better with each game in that specialty area?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I'm excited to be back there. I really feel like I can change the game and like I have more opportunities to make plays. So like I mean I've got a couple. I had a couple returns the first game, and then the last two games where a couple fair catches, a couple bad kicks, but just being back there, I'm getting a lot more comfortable. So I'm confident that when that ball touches my hands, I'm gonna make a play. I'm gonna make a game changer because special teams is our X factor. So I wanna add on to that X factor.
All right, thanks. Good seeing you, Chad.
Thank you. Good seeing you too.
Wyatt Kopelman.
I wanted to go back to a little bit about your individual background playing high school football in South Florida. I mean, Geno Smith played down there, Lamar Jackson played down there. How much did you look up to those, albeit you played at Calvary Christian throughout high school?
I looked up to those guys a lot, honestly. Like, Lamar, even when he was at Louisville and in high school, that was always somebody that I watched. And you just see guys like Zay Flowers, like Jerry Judy, Elijah Moore. There's endless amount of receivers, quarterbacks, D linemen, all type of people, and you just kind of you see those guys doing it big and just coming from like the situation that you were in general. Like it kind of gives you hope. You see that and you're like, okay, like you can actually make it. You can actually go do this, go do that, and it shows you that your dreams can come true. And it just makes you want to push harder. And you see guys like Lamar Jackson come back and do 7-on-7 tournaments, and he's involved with the community. He takes pictures and talks to people, and it honestly just it makes you want to keep going, and it gives you hope.
We talked to Giuseppe yesterday about his background of playing high school football in Texas and how that prepares him for the Naval Academy, maybe in like an indirect sense when he has a ton of people heckling him, even though he's a safety. But as another skill position player, what's your perspective on how playing in the South Florida heat, the humidity, which seems to be unforgiving more often than not, prepares you for the demands of the Naval Academy?
Yeah, I mean, I never really like looked at the heat as that, because obviously I grew up in it, so like that was kind of normal to me. So then when
Yeah.
you get here and you're playing in the cold, it's a little different. So I see what other people feel, but I like it. Also, it just comes down to a mindset. I hate the cold, but I'm able to play in the cold, and I'm pretty sure some guys would prefer the cold, but they have to play in the heat. So they buckle down, have that mindset, and go play. So I think that's I mean, obviously, like maybe it's an advantage because I'm used to the heat and I'm like, okay, I know I can play in it, so it's not even a factor to me. But I would say like just environment wise, just like the people that you're around and the competition that you're around, like it makes you better and it pushes your game to an elite level.
Taking on a Rice team that operates out of the gun for its triple option defense is pretty good too. It's I believe one of the best in the passing defense in the conference. So do you kind of is there still kind of experience you reflect on as something that helped prepare you to start and succeed in such a unique offense here at Navy, and especially when it comes to facing disruptive defenses in this conference?
Yeah, I mean honestly, going against our defense, we got one of the best defenses in the country, and I mean they stop our offense all the time. So we had plenty of days in fall camp where we had to face that adversity. Uh, Coach Volker and Coach Newberry, they work together and they have a great defense going. So I mean honestly, the looks that we get in practice, like it definitely prepares you for the game. So I mean I'm not too worried about a disruptive defense because our defense does cause a lot of havoc, and it's honestly harder to go against them than a lot of the teams that we do go against. So I feel like that gets us very prepared.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Brandon, Scott Wyckoff brought up your mom a little bit ago, but tell us how important she's been in your journey to get here and then actually in your 4 years here as far as being a part of your life and helping you through things.
Yeah, I mean honestly, she's like been very influential, and like has offered a lot of help. Obviously, like you know whatever we had going on when I was in high school, she still made sure that I was at everything I needed to. She made sure that she was able to just support me and be there for me through all that. And then I've had other support. My dad, my stepmom, and people helping out in general. And then I get to the prep school, and it was a little rough. Like honestly, I was going through it. It was new to me, and I had to get acclimated. So I'm calling my mom every day, and I'm pretty sure it got annoying to her sometimes, but was able to get through it. And then obviously you get to your plebe year, and it's a lot of the same. You think you got past it, you go through some struggles plebe year, it's a lot of the same. But just like throughout that time, like she's been there as a support system, and we have a busy schedule, so I'm not able to maybe talk to her or talk to family in general as much as I want to. But like, they've been supportive and they understand, like sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we haven't talked in a while, and I'll tell them I was busy. They're like, yeah, no need to apologize. We understand. And then, they come up here for games and they show their support, they show their love and, send message before games, after games, sometimes in the spring, just in general, I feel that support and, it just gives you another reason to keep going. And, when you're going through those hard times or even those hard workouts, like that's what you think about. You think about your family and your loved ones. And so that really, that support system really keeps me going.
Tell us your recruiting story. How did you end up at Navy?
So I played JV my first 2 years of high school, and then my junior year, I was at Chaminade Madonna still, and there were like 5 receivers. I was the fifth one, so I barely played. So like whole season, I had like six catches and like 90 yards on the season, and then COVID hit, and I ended up transferring to the school that I went to senior year, and I grinded, earned my spot there, had a breakout game. Uh, I had about 6 catches and maybe like 150 yards that game. So, I broke out and like I knew it was going to be a great season. We only had 5 games, but I mean, my coach kind of had like just like the connection to Navy in general because of Diego Fago and Daniel Jones. They both graduated from here. And like just in general, like, I mean, I didn't get offered from Navy. I didn't have any D1 offers. I had a couple of D2, D3, some NAIA schools. And then I was offered from Warner University, NAIA D2 school, uh, and I was actually gonna go there. I was talking to the coaches, trying to get as much scholarship as possible, and then I was gonna go there and I was gonna work and help pay the rest off because I mean my parents couldn't afford to pay for college, so it was in a sense D1 or none, and literally a week before signing day, Navy reached out to me, and the coach that was recruiting me, Coach O'Rourke, he was like, when he basically told me that a kid, you know, basically was messing around with their grades, and so they lost their opportunity. So I was blessed with that opportunity literally a week before signing day, and I heard the opportunities that I would be offered here, and I couldn't help but say yes. So I committed like the day after, and then I was able to sign. So and then it took me a while to get accepted in general into the school, which was maybe like a month or two before report date.
And then Coach Newberry likes to talk about elite E, effort, attitude, and toughness. That's after having getting to know you, over the last 4 years. That seems to be like your mantra your entire life. Is that something you can speak on?
Yes, sir. It has. It's just like honestly, just being smaller. Like I mean, you already get overlooked because your size, and so I think my biggest thing was like I knew that I had to work harder than everybody else just to get to the same level as everybody else, and then I had to work to even another level just to like surpass everybody else. So I think that's just like always been a thing. Like even whether you're doing good or bad, whether you do the right thing or the wrong thing, give 100% effort, make a mistake going full speed, and that takes me into attitude. My biggest thing and the thing that my mom always harps on is just like your mindset. Like it's hard to be positive about everything, and that the human mind naturally thinks negative about things, but you have to combat that, and it has to be like a daily practice, and you have thousands of decisions to make in a day, and you have to be mentally strong to make the right decision, whether it comes to outside of football or football. So I think that just goes with the attitude piece of things, and then toughness. Like I said, my mom was always just harping on being tough. Like ain't no soft babies in her house. Just work hard, be tough.
Awesome. Thank you. Does anyone have anything else? We got about 6 minutes.
I have something else.
Go ahead.
Um, Coach Newberry, I'd asked him about, what he attributes most to this team having a top 10 time of possession right now in the country. What do you think this team can prove as it relates to dominating the line of scrimmage and creating an advantage in the run game this weekend?
I mean, like you said, like we, I mean, we want to have long drives. We can have quick drives. We have playmakers, so naturally there's going to be explosion plays. There's going to be shorter drives, but you know, if a drive isn't going to where we want explosive plays, we're going to get the play started and we're going to get a couple yards and we're going to convert and we're going to keep driving down the field. We're going to give coach, a new set of 3 to 4 plays to call. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Like whether facing adversity, whether things are going well or not, whether we're getting 20 yards or we're getting 2 or 3 yards, just keep fighting. You know, throw the last play out the window, line back up, breathe, focus, explode, and ready to go. Start the play off the next play, and get those yards and keep driving down the field. We're gonna score whether it's a 10-minute drive or a 2-minute, 30-second drive. So,
Is there anything that stands out to you most about the way the offensive line has created opportunities to extend drives? As you said, it may not always be a chunk play to put the ball across the goal line.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like the thing that amazes me is just like the size difference. I'll stand next to RO line and you'll just see the big difference, and I'll be short, and an RO line will stand against some other D lines, and it'll be like the same relation that they are to me, but they explode off the ball and they go hit somebody in their mouth. So I mean, it shows you that at the end of the day, the size doesn't really matter. It's who wants it more, who's more hungry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone have anything else for Brandon? All right. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Great job.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.